January 20th, 5:30 a.m. Washington is gripped by the morning chill, but inside the Trump Tower penthouse, life is surging. Donald Trump stands before the mirror, tying his legendary bright red tie. This isn't just an article of clothing, it's his personal standard, a symbol of aggressive success. He gazes at the city lights, knowing that in just a few hours, this city will belong to him. Despite every attempt by the establishment to stop him, his path here wasn't paved with roses. It was a marathon through endless lawsuits, media smears, and betrayals by those he once called allies. Every analyst, every expert in a tailored suit said the same thing in unison: he will never be president. But today, their predictions have turned to dust. At the entrance, the Beast, an armored limousine capable of withstanding a direct missile strike, idles its engine. The Secret Service is operating at code red. In the private chats of radicals, whispers of disruption plans circulate, while snipers on the rooftops of neighboring buildings have turned every meter of the route into a kill zone. This isn't just a peaceful transfer of power. This is a conqueror's triumphal entry into the capital of the empire. Capitol Hill looks like a powder keg today. Thousands have flooded the National Mall, creating a sea of red hats that stretches to the horizon. The air is so electrified, it feels as if space itself is vibrating with tension. On one side, a cheering crowd that sees him as a messiah. On the other, protesters whose signs are filled with pure vitriol. Trump slowly steps onto the podium, and time seems to freeze. Barack Obama and Joe Biden sit just a few feet away. Look at their faces, a mix of shock, denial, and quiet fury. The awkward, icy handshake captured by cameras for history speaks louder than 1,000 speeches. Trump places his hand on a massive Bible, the very one Lincoln used. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear. At that exact moment, a dead silence fell over the headquarters of the Silicon Valley tech giants. They realized, the era of agenda control is over. Now, the rules of the game are dictated by a man who recognizes no rules but his own. The first minutes in the Oval Office felt like a scene from a movie about a power seizure. Trump didn't come here to politely sip tea and discuss traditions. He walked into the office like a rightful owner who found his house neglected and infested with parasites. Sitting at the legendary Resolute desk, crafted from the timbers of a British Arctic ship, he got straight to work. While his predecessors spent months consulting with lobbyists, Trump began signing executive orders one after another at such a speed that his assistants literally ran out of ink. Every stroke of the pen was a blow to the old world order. One signature and multi-billion-dollar trade deals that had stifled American industry for decades were sent to the shredder. Another, and the construction of the infamous wall, the symbol of his policy, began. Pentagon generals stood along the walls, stiff as boards. Trump didn't ask for their opinions. He demanded reports and strict deadlines. He looked at the world map not as a diplomat, but as a hard-nosed New York developer. Here we build, here we demolish, and here are our terms, and they are non-negotiable. America First ceased to be a mere campaign slogan. It became the new religion of the White House, a death sentence for globalists, and the beginning of the most massive purge in Washington's history. But while Trump was celebrating his victory in the Oval Office, a conspiracy was already brewing behind its golden curtains. In the dark corridors of the Capitol and the headquarters of intelligence agencies, whispers of impeachment began even before the ink had dried on his first signature. This was the war of the deep state against a lone wolf who dared to challenge the system. The streets of Washington turned into a combat zone. Protests didn't stop for a minute, escalating into violent clashes with the police. AI algorithms from major social media platforms, controlled from Silicon Valley, began an unspoken censorship, filtering the president's every word and flagging it as unreliable. This was a war on two fronts, where the enemy was everywhere, from his own advisors to the world's leading media outlets. The Secret Service moved to a 24/7 high alert mode. Every public appearance by Trump turned into a complex logistical operation. Sniper teams on rooftops, armored glass several inches thick, and a constant readiness for evacuation. To be Donald Trump in those days meant being the biggest target in the world. Every step he took was documented, every word dissected under a microscope in search of the slightest mistake that could trigger his downfall. But the more they pressured him, the tougher he became.